In this tutorial, we will look at how to manage the electrical connections for the NLi080 and NLi120 families of integrated drive motors. We will analyze the connector pinouts in detail and identify the cables required for interfacing, from the initial programming phase to the final connection with the PLC. Let's start with the NLi080 series, in the Q and X versions. If you are using the Modbus RTU version with a single connector, the connection to the PLC, or the programming box, is made via a single cable, model DA00002011. This cable, terminated with a DSUB15 connector, carries all necessary signals, Modbus, power supply, and digital I/O. In the CAN-open version, however, the motor features two connectors and therefore requires two DA00002011 cables. Pay close attention to the positioning. The connector near the LEDs handles the CAN-open bus and two digital outputs. Here, you can also enable or disable the internal termination resistor via the dedicated lines. The second connector receives the Modbus lines, power supply, digital inputs, and the CAN-open pass-through, allowing for a daisy chain configuration. Moving on to the NLi120 series. In the standard Modbus RTU configuration, the motor features two separate onboard connectors for power and signal. For wiring, we use the DA00120111 signal cable, which brings inputs, outputs, and Modbus to the DSUB15, and the DA002211 power cable. In the latter, the 24V positive pole is identified by the red wire, while the ground is on the black wire. If your application requires both Modbus and CAN-open, you will need to add the DA122011 cable with a DSUB9 connector, dedicated exclusively to the CAN bus. Finally, there is a version with a single rear connector. In this case, the DA00122019 cable is used, which integrates Modbus, CAN-open, and power supply into a single solution. For the configuration phase, we use the DA012060 programming box, which interfaces the motor with the NLi starter software in a Windows environment. The connection to the PC is made via a standard USB cable. The box is powered at 24 volts and serves as a diagnostic tool. The integrated LEDs show the status of the Modbus TX and RX lines and the digital outputs, while the physical switches allow you to simulate the digital input transitions normally managed by the PLC. To connect the box to the motor, use the DA00002011 cable for the NLi080 series, while for the NLi120 models, use the combination of signal and power cables mentioned earlier. Finally, let's look at the integration within the automation cabinet. To simplify wiring to the PLC, we use the NLDB 15mg 6-terminal block. This dual-level terminal module allows for easy distribution of power, bus, and I/O signals. Please note the wiring differences. For NLi080 motors, the 24 volts power must be connected to pins 4 and 5, with grounds on pins 6 and 7 of the terminal block. For NLi120 motors, however, since power is supplied via the dedicated power cable, you only need to connect the ground lines to pins 6 and 7 on the terminal block to ensure a common signal reference.